And now, Anarchy TV, brought to you in association with the North American Institute for Psychoacoustic Research and the North Carolina Center for Substance Abuse. Over 20 years of senseless videotaping. This is our theme song, Delusions of Vanishes. Anarchy Television, my imaginary television show.
You're watching Anarchy TV!
Do it again.
Tell us, how long have you had the dog?
Just 2 days for now.
Does he know any good tricks yet?
No.
There he is. That's cute.
You're watching Anarchy TV with John Black.
I ain't shy from cameras. I just sometimes can't keep an erection with the hot lights in my face.
I know what you mean.
Be a part of a social movement. I've been doing this pretty much all my life, you know, trying to affect change.
Show, man. We're gonna be on their show, maybe.
What's the name of the show?
Anarchy,
to the skate
Anarchy TV, my imaginary.
You want to come to the
television
skate park? I'll show you some cool
show.
stuff.
What I'll do is.
We are going in the wrong direction. We're going back instead of forward, and I'm not quite sure, you know, what we can do about it.
You're watching Anarchy TV.
Well, my name is Lon, and I was born and raised here in Asheville. Well, I was born in Asheville and raised in Berkeley, actually. But I've seen a lot of things go down here when I was a young man, such as cross burnings and Klan marches, things of that nature, and I'm willing to share them with you. John has been nice enough to ask me to share this information with you, and here we are.
Y'all like TV, sir?
Yeah!
If you could be any animal, what would it be and why?
It would be a lion, hear me roar.
Huh?
I'd be a lion, hear me roar. Roar.
Got some questions you want to ask?
Well, when did you move to California?
I moved to California in 1968. I played football here in Asheville, got a scholarship to play football over at Kentucky State. Got tired of the whistles and wanted to travel, so I thought, hey, the best way to travel is to join the Air Force. They fly. So I joined the Air Force and wound up in San Francisco, met a beautiful lady by the name of Alice Ajamu. We got married and had 2 beautiful children. And my wife was pretty politically active in Berkeley. Her brother Harry Steele worked with the Black Panther Party, with Huey Newton and Bobby Seale, Elaine Brown. And they had some great programs back in the early 60s, especially the children's breakfast program. That's the one that still exists today, ironically. Of all the programs that the Panthers had going on, this is the only one that still exists today, even in Oakland, where the party started.
You're watching Anarchy TV.
Okay.
Public access changed my life.
Is that really true?
Yes.
Okay, we got some ideas.
So there's not any hip hop or rap on it, but new Gnarls Barkley's album "Saying Elsewhere." It was like the best, like experimental psychedelic soul and R&B I've heard in years, and it's so much better than hip hop.
Dang. Arr! I got somebody behind me. He don't know nothing.
Gnarls Barkley's "Saying Elsewhere."
Watch it.
I was fortunate enough to meet a lot of the inner workings of the Black Panther Party because of my beautiful wife, Alice. Her brother, Harry, who no longer is with us, he was killed back in the mid-60s in Sacramento.
Was that an assassination?
I think it was an assassination. He was actually working for Ronald Reagan back during that time when Reagan was the governor before he became president of the United States. Harry worked with him trying to initiate change. He was a very bright, intelligent, and outspoken man. I miss him to this day. But I really think because of his idealistic approach to politics that he was murdered. And unfortunately, some of the programs that the Panthers had, and COINTEL actually, that was led by the FBI and John, what's his name? Hoover. J. Edgar Hoover, yeah. And I think this was part of the whole process of him being eliminated, because he actually was a lot more, I think he believed more in the cause and the movement than Huey Newton or Bobby Seale. As a matter of fact, a lot of his ideas, they stole.
Okay.
You are watching Anarchy TV.
I will need to eat more of this kind of acid to really get to the level of what it was intended, because
got a couple of minutes to address y'all and make some comments. So, Pat, why don't you introduce yourself to the gang?
Well, as he said, I'm Pat Garlinghouse, and right now I'm in Monterey, California. Have a big passion for access. I've been doing it for about 15 years, and I was the executive director in Austin, Texas, and in Houston. It's interesting. This place, if you're familiar with Austin, is somewhat of a combination of Austin and, would you think, Paul, Monterey?
Absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely. Amazing. I say that over and over.
Okay, and I didn't know that, did I?
Yeah.
No. And that's the feel you get, both from the website and, from being here and seeing the city. And this is my first time in Asheville. So, but I've been those other places a lot. So I've been around in access, it seems like forever, in court with controversial programming. We haven't.
Very good.
All kinds of issues that people have to face: growth, development. How do you, get people to use the facility? How do you make it grow with no money? All those issues. And so I've been on the national board for 6 years, and so I'm pretty familiar with what's going on around the country. And if you've known me from the national board, you know it's always about producers. Without producers, we don't have a facility, or we don't have a channel and it's not working, or whatever. So that's always been the bread and butter. I consider it that, plus millions of other issues you could get me to talk about all day. But for the most part, that's probably the essence.
I think he believed more in the cause and the movement than Huey Newton or Barbara Seale. As a matter of fact, a lot of his ideas they stole. So he had to go, and he was killed one night in Sacramento. Somebody blew his head off, and they have not yet determined what happened. So that case is pretty much still open. But it was very frightening. But
I can come out and get you. Okay? Because I'm fed up. I'm fed up. You get.
Everybody that I meet is about my first meeting of Huey P. Newton, who founded the Black Panther Party. I was in downtown Oakland getting ready to go up to meet him and talk to him about a program. And I got on the elevator and I saw this little short guy, and I see this big guy standing next to him, and so I didn't really know what was going on, but I knew I was going up to meet Huey Newton. And I turned around and said, "How you doing, little brother?" He said, "Oh, I'm doing all right, I'm doing all right. How you doing, little brother?" He said, "My name's Huey Newton." I said, "Oh, okay." But it was so funny because I expected to see this big towering figure, you know, and I turned around, it was a guy about 5'8", with a little squeaky voice, a real light-skinned black man, very attractive, but nothing that I thought that Huey Newton was going to be. So he met me before I met him, actually. I guess that was the plan, that we would meet on the elevator. Now that I look back at that whole scene, I just thought, God, this was all staged, it was all set up. It wasn't a natural meeting. They met me before I met them. So I'm wondering now, you know, how valuable is the Black Panther Party? Are they part of the problem, or are they part of the solution? So it sort of made me a little leery, but we did finally do the show. We did a show called Ceremonies and Dark Old Men, about a Harlem barber back in the 50s, and they seemed to like it, and we had a good time. They were good people for the most part, and I think that their ideals and ideas were good ones. But today, as we look back at the Black Panther Party, there's a lot of things that are a little obscure about the party. I think that they were, some of the people who are in the hierarchy were out to really get rich, and a lot of them did. I saw them driving Mercedes and Jaguars, and I'm thinking, wow, here are the people you're trying to fight for and help. They're down here on the streets with nothing, and you're driving the Jaguars and Mercedes. I'm not quite sure if this is something I want to be a part of.
The poor people are still poor.
The poor people are still poor, and the poverty pimps, as I call them, not only the Panthers, but there were other organizations in the communities that were like, they would get funds, and about 90% of the funds would go to their salaries and 10% would go to the people. So that was a little discouraging. So I started moving a little farther and farther away from the party. But I think their idealism and I think their intentions were good. But I think that with the FBI and the COINTEL and all the infiltration of the party, pretty much killed them and killed their ideals and ideas.
A lot of ideals that were held during the 60s have gone in the same direction.
Mm-hmm.
other outfits, other people besides the Black Panthers?
Absolutely, absolutely. There was
For the same reason.
Well, for the same reason, because I think the federal government did not want this change to be for the people. I think that the politicians wanted to pad their pockets, which they did. I think that for the most part, that they did not want to affect change. I think they want status quo. I don't think that the politic body in this country during that time and now wanted to see, hungry people fed, sick people taken care of.
Or today?
Today, it has not really been that much of a change. As a matter of fact, I think we're retrogressing, we aren't progressing. And that's the sad part about this whole body politic. We are going in the wrong direction. We're going back instead of forward. And
it's so clean and strong, it takes a while to set on.
I do. You mentioned the breakfast program, and I remember hearing about the breakfast program, years ago, and it was always considered to be one of the best programs that the Black
Panthers did. It was the shining star of the Black Panther Party. It still exists today, not only in Oakland and Berkeley and the Bay Area, but in a lot of other parts of this country. It was about feeding kids and feeding them the right things, taking care of the mothers, because most of the kids who were in the breakfast program were from single parent homes. The father was nowhere to be found, and the mother was, holding 2 or 3 jobs, so she had to get out of the house way before sun up sometimes. So the kids were going to school hungry, and a hungry kid cannot learn. It's hard for somebody in school who's hungry to, learn, what's 2 and 2, what's 4 and 4. So the party decided, well, let's feed these kids and get them off to school, and when they get there, perhaps they might be able to learn something. So the breakfast program, which still exists today, as I keep saying, was the shining star of the Black Panther Party. And the reason it is the shining star because it still exists. It's probably of the 10-point program that the party had affected, it's probably the only program that still exists to this day. And it's a wonderful program. I mean, don't we want to feed our children, and don't we want them to learn? And they're the ones that's going to be taking care of us when we are old and invalid. So of all the things that the party did, this had to be the shining star.
Right. Well, you should be honored to have been a part of that, because people that were involved in that are considered like folk heroes.
Well, I was just trying to affect change. I don't look at myself as a hero.
Well, that's the way it was back then, wasn't it?
Yeah. People were trying to affect change. They were trying to revolutionize this country. And when we say we want a revolution in this country, people, they, especially some people from the far right, they think when you say revolution, you think of people taking up arms and going down the street and cutting people's head off and killing people. Well, that's probably, some countries they have that type of revolutions where people die, but in this country we were looking for a social revolution. We were looking for change, and when you say revolution, all revolution means is change. And
we thought it was happening too. We thought that's the way it was going to go, didn't we?
Yeah, well, we're going in reverse direction actually. To instead of going forward with these programs and these policies, we're going in the exact opposite direction. People are still hungry. People are, just the other day I seen people out in the street, it's like 20 degrees. They were, trying to stay warm. They didn't have a place to go. They were hungry. And so how much change have we affected? I'm not quite sure if we have affected any. And that's the sad part. That's what makes me feel sad, because I still see hungry people, hungry children. So what have we done? And I'm still about affecting change. To this day, I'm working at the YWCA trying to get people healthy. Diabetes, as you know, is probably one of the biggest killers in this country. So I'm the coordinator for the preventive project over at the YWCA, along with Holly Jones, who's the vice mayor of Asheville, a beautiful lady, very idealistic, very bright. And we're trying to find a way to affect change, especially with health disparities, because minorities, poor people in this country just do not have vehicles to health care. So they're dying, especially Native Americans, Latinos, African Americans. Diabetes and other diseases are killing us. So that's my way of serving humanity, and I'll be glad to help any way I can. Just let me know.
Watching Anarchy TV.
You will watch Anarchy Television on Friday nights at 11 o'clock, and you will like it.
Question. Yes. Do you watch ATV? Of course not.
Cut.
I think we can end this interview now.
Turn the lights off.
Yeah. Do I get my money now? Where's my money?
Wait.
Puppet. It's making sure you're working with a master cinematographer.